Kia ora and welcome to the VALORANT Oceania Tour, brought to you by LPL. We are live casting from the heart of Tamaki Makaurau here in the Sky Tower. I am Dallas Easy Fight City and I will be your host here for today. It's a pleasure to have you all joining us, so welcome, welcome, and welcome once more. If you are new to the show, let's take a quick look at the Tournament Explainer to see how we've gotten to where we are today. 2 open qualifiers here, currently in the 2 coast qualifiers, working our way towards 1 regional final. Obviously our top 4 will be heading over to the closed qualifiers 1 and 2 here, with our top 2 teams making our way to the NA last chance qualifier. And you might ask, what are these guys playing for? How much money are they looking to win? So, if they come in 4th here, they will be taking home $1,000. 3rd place will be taking home $2,000. 2nd, taking home $3,000. 1st place, taking home a whopping $4,000 dues in the pocket. So a fair bit of money on the line, but obviously a couple of spots to those NA qualifiers there as well. So it wouldn't just be me here today. Luckily, we are joined by the beautiful tones of Komodo and Conky. Lads, how are we doing today over the ditch?
Feeling fresh, feeling funky, feeling ready.
Yeah, ready to rock and roll, bro. It's a big day of games, and I'm absolutely stoked to get into it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I mean, yeah, we saw some wonderful results yesterday, some very, very intense games. So, I mean, do you guys want to talk us through what we saw yesterday?
Well, I mean, when it comes to, you know, a couple of those games, there was just phenomenal highlight plays. A lot of people would have seen around the socials, even on Reddit, the big swirl play that, I guess, stole the show for the whole night.
Yeah, no, it was really exciting to see that kind of stuff actually come out. You know, it felt like, you know, the right amount of timing or something like that. But aside from that, you know, Demon, a team that I hadn't seen much of as of yet, we knew how good they were fundamentally. They actually showed up and pulled the 2-0 away. And then Order actually got pushed to the 3rd map by Wildcard, which was really, really cool to see. So it means that despite, you know, a bit of a shake in the scene, it means we still got really, really good quality VALORANT coming out.
Exactly that. So let's have a look at today's schedule. Sadly, our first game up was going to be Wildcard taking on Direwolves. Direwolves were unable to make that game happen, so Wildcard will be taking home that extra bit of cash and obviously picking up that better seeding spot moving forward. Right now, we will have Order taking on Demon for you in our final match of the day here. And I mean, I'm very, very excited to see these 2 teams duke it out for that top spot there. Now, guys, you know, just talk us through a little bit here. You know, Order versus Demon, what do we expect to see from these 2 here?
Look, I'm not going to lie. I think the full 3 maps could come out in this when we do see what they are. We've seen just outstanding players come through from both of these rosters. You know, Order, they've been established in their 5 quite a little bit now. Demon, they've been, I wouldn't say thrown together just willy-nilly. They've put some thought in behind it. They've got, you know, a boasting of young talent as well as the experience of the old guard. So really, we're looking at a massive match to close off this closed qualifiers 1.
Yeah, and I mean, Conky as well. How do you think, you know, solidifying that sort of first seed spot there and winning today, you know, does that really help their confidence, you know, moving forward for the rest of the tour?
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge to be able to walk away with that first seed. I guess it's kind of bragging rights. You know, obviously the money's great. The fact that you're going to be put into that better spot as you can sort of run for that NA qualifying spot, that's obviously huge. But also it's just showing, you know, it's a brand new year, 2021, everything's happening, all these changes are occurring, and the teams are doing really, really well. Order's the perfect example, right? You know, they've completely changed out their roles. We've obviously got Autumn and Disco sort of back onto the duelists, the fraggers on the team. And then when it comes to Demon, they've actually taken, you know, the experience and the talent and put it together and, you know, it's made this really, really cool team with a lot of, you know, newer and familiar faces. So yeah, I definitely think, you know, pulling away first today doesn't mean just the prize money. You know, it means a lot more.
Well, for those of you who are experienced within the scene, you know a lot of these players already. But if you are new, let's take a quick look at our lineups of the players. First up, it's going to be Order here. Now, Komodo, I mean, talk us through some of these players. Who's really stands out to you for the matchup today?
Well, I just want to point out it always looks better when we've got the player photos, doesn't it? A handsome lot of the boys on this screen right here. Of course, you know, coming back from that Counter-Strike era that Conky and I are well versed in. Tux, I mean, he's going to be, you know, anyone could lead the roster essentially on this one, but Tux is going to be bringing in those Sentinels. Techs are going to be bringing in that support on the smokes and maybe even the Sage, depending on that map pool. And then you just go on and go forward. You know, you've got the young guns, Autumn and Disco, as Mitch said, going to be bringing it in on those duelists. it's just a massive roster of firepower for Order.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been unfortunate enough to feel the wrath of a few of these guys in the past, you know, across CS, across Valorant. So I'd hate to be on the receiving end of some of these. So let's, you know, cross over now and have a look at Demon's lineup. And I mean, Conky, talk to us about a few of these guys. You know, we've got some old boys, we've got some young boys. Tell us what you think about the lineup here.
Well, this is the really cool thing because these guys all come from very, very different backgrounds. You know, I know Ferg and Maple, they're obviously Perth boys alongside me. So they played, you know, together or against each other at LANs in the past and everything back in the CS days. Gaza, you know, a guy that's been around for ages, a very, very elite level CS. And then we've got Sign, who I think actually is from Overwatch, and then Swell, who is that young talent, you know, 16, pulling up huge numbers. And the fact is, you know, these guys have taken a bit of a gamble. They've brought in a very different mix of players and put them all together, and it's showing really, really good results. To have this position in a grand final for such a big competition so early on is amazing to see.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what these guys are going to bring to the table. So let's have a look at our key matchup here for tonight. It's going to be Swirl up against this guy. And I mean, Komodo, talk to us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, well, a lot of the times in the head-to-head matchups, you'd usually see the Jet operators be brought on through. But for these guys, you know, they're going to be on those off-duelists. They're going to be seeing the Razors, the Rainers to come on forward, and even the Phoenix at some point when it gets onto certain maps, likewise of Swirl on Haven. So for the charge of these two young fellas, they're really just looking for the consistency and the control of their duelists, making sure they're getting in those entries today and just making sure that they're bringing all of the firepower, because we know that they're capable of just being very explosive, but whether or not the Heat will get to them today in this huge grand final matchup, that's to be seen.
Now the heat on some Phoenix players, eh? I see what you've done there. And I mean, you also notice as well, they've got matching haircuts almost, you know? Is that like a duelist haircut you've got to have before playing?
Bit of scruff, love to see it.
But yeah, first up, you know, we've got the maps coming in as well. So, I mean, let's talk a little bit through about the maps as well. You know, first up, Order going to be taking Haven. Demon going to be taking Bind. Split there if we do get to the best of three. So, I mean, Conky, talk us through, you know, why have Order been so strong on Haven?
Yeah, look, Haven is one of their best maps. You know, I just think the way that they're able to structure it together is, you know, really, really good. They've got the capacity to sort of leave Tux maybe over towards that A site, just sort of control around the rest of the positions of the map. You know, plus their experience. There's 3 sites. There's so many open areas that really can be taken advantage of by both the attackers and the defenders. So really, really versatile. But I'm more interested in Bind and Split. Split's an interesting one because that was the one that Order came out and absolutely blitzed through yesterday against Wildcard. Whereas Bind, you know, that's actually a good one for Demon as well. So I'm really excited to see, you know, this sort of switch of maps, because Ascent, you know, they've got rid of that Icebox. We haven't really seen it in much competitive gameplay yet. So this, I think, is a really, really good middle of the map pool where we're going to see some good, you know, hot contest.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that as well, you know, because Wildcard did really sort of bounce back in map 2 yesterday, and I really thought they might have had it going for them. But, you know, towards map number 3, they did just get blown over. So, you know, Dion, any sort of final thoughts there, mate?
Just when it comes to Haven, you know, the little matchup that we're going to see between Gaza and Tux, they're going to be very well versed in a wide range of plays. Once upon a time, they were both on that the Jet operator, you know, the duelist for all of those entries. And now that they've both been, I wouldn't say pushed into the Sentinel roles, it means that they've got a lot more control and capability to gather information. And for these games, you know, they're going to have a wallop of understanding just how the whole team is going to structure out, and even that counter information as well, because, you know, both of these teams would have done their research prior to this matchup. And this is where we could see some stratting of their own mixed with some counter stratting, and that's where you really love to see Valorant at in our region.
Exactly that. Well, we've talked about it. We're all waiting and ready to go. So without further ado, let's give it over to Komodo and Conky, and let's get into map number 1.
Oh, baby, Dion, we are back here on this one. Obviously, guys, again, Riot Games and LPL putting on the, you know, the Valorant Oceania tournament that we finally get to see. The league that we've been waiting on, and huge things coming in over the last couple of days now. It all comes up to this in the grand final. Dion, Haven, Order, Demon, I'm ready.
Oh, you know how I feel about Haven, Mitch. It's one of those maps where sometimes, you know, when you're very well versed in the 2 sort of spike sites, you kind of forget that one exists on this map. And usually the time of that would be over at that B site. But we know that B is very potent, very high in the potential on this one. So for Demon, you know, a lot to be able to prove, to go up against one of the, you know, region's reigning champions in Order, because of course there's Exo Clan that will be able to meet that fold there as well. But I'm very, very excited for this one, Mitch.
Very, very excited indeed. So just checking up. Okay, so it looks like we've got the Flex on the Brimstone and the Omen again coming through, but immediately Tex is actually going to find that opening pick on a Swell. So that's going to be a very, very important member for Demon going down early on. But it looks like Ferg's getting a push up, finding a little bit of extra control. And Tux will be falling away from that location as well. So already taking the C site, ready to lock it down, full position. It's going to have to be the retake coming through for Demon, but Tux is already going to find Ferg. Very, very big brain to be waiting for that flank.
Yeah, now with the spike already being planted as well, it is going to put Order in a really good stead to be able to close out this pistol round. You do still have those cloud bursts available on the side of Demon to try to get on through, but Tux on the flank has spotted out a little bit of information and will relieve Gaza of his head. Maple trying to bring himself in. The darts are being seen sky high coming on through. It's always a sticky scenario when you do poise all of your players down this long area. Actually, it's not even a dart, it's the Molotov to buy 8 seconds off that defuse. Dick Stacy to find Maple, and it's all going to be down on 2 signs. The Ghost has been picked up. That will reveal him. At least not. He tucks away from it, but with all these bodies still alive for Order, they will look to claim the pistol.
That was really, really clean. Very nicely done from Tux to be able to find that control, catching one rotating through in the spawn, getting the one rotating in garage as well. It's clear that they've done their research. They know exactly how it's going to be, and Ferg is ultimately punished for it. So the smoke's being going down, ultimately puts them in an awkward situation. So moving into the next round, we get the first picked up by Order. And what will we see from the money side of things? Are we going to see a force back in, or are we going to see them take, the L for this one and just go for the eco?
Well, Demon, I mean, the eco is probably just the better route right now. They didn't get any defuse on that spike. They let Order get it, so they're going to be really comfortable in how they're going to play it out. A deep little piece of utility from Demon already does spill the beans on Demon's attempt at the beginning stages. Texted him up for a bunch of the frags, maybe even able to find the third one to add his stats. Certainly will be doing so, and now afforded the escape route as well. So as clean as you can get for the start of the new round for Order. As I say that though, Tux has been shortied to death by Maple.
The shorty. Certainly something that you don't want to be coming up against. So at least Maple will be able to pick up the Spectre here, but maybe just looking for some exit damage. Not really anything that can come out. So well done from Order to be able to afford that spike plant on the C site. Maple's just going to wait to see if anyone does aggress, so at least he can try do some further economic damage, because that will be pretty much it. Looks like we've already got Autumn clearing out through spawn. So yeah, good start. Very well done from Order to be able to find these positions early on. Again, it's clear that they're ready for the aggression. One bit of commentary that I make around this one is the fact that Haven is played very aggressively, even by the defenders, and sometimes it doesn't need to be. So there's Order waiting for them to come into their hands, taking it up accordingly. And now Maple is actually heading up towards this site. They are within earshot though, so they shouldn't be able to do it. There is no way.
There's no time. There's no time anyways. He's missed the cue.
Just missed it, right?
Oh, wait, hang on.
Oh, that was right, dude.
0.5. He's missed it by a millimeter. That would have been an absolutely phenomenal ninja defuse. It's very rare that you see ninjas actually come through in this game though. Hey, but I mean, when they do come out, it's absolutely ridiculous. Still, Mitch, Order, they will claim the second round, but it does mean into the third. It's your little fickle thing of this bonus rounds to come through for Order. So Demon, the rifles are out.
The full buy and obviously the bonus to a degree being played. Tux will be picking up that rifle just to make sure he's got a little bit of extra firepower to boot. The rest of the team is going to be sitting with those Spectres. The wall bang, which we are used to seeing, actually does take down Dick Stacy. 6 points of HP. We did see a couple of frags come through in that nature in the in the yesterday's matches. Tux is going to collect there by picking up Maple. So once again, a good start here from Order, despite the early aggression and the damage dealt onto Dick Stacy. But also, with that being said, Dexter, he's down to a couple of points of HP as well. So it's going to be an awkward one for Order, despite having the 5 people alive.
Yeah, and you can see with Demon already losing a player as well. They are spread scarcely around the map, putting a little bit of pressure into this B site, into Garage as well, to try to contain a little bit of information. Ferg is going to get out the Shroud Step for a little bit of a fake TP deployment as Order start to creep out down the sewers. The camera for Gaza will spot out a bunch of this information. Demon almost going to be forced onto the retake now. In Order, they should be all right to be able to get that spike plant down, though. Don't count out on these little darts that Signed could be throwing through.
So wandering around, Stein is ready for this position, but the timing isn't going to fare him. Disco Does manage to pick that one up. Swirl is looking to try and find it. It's actually pulled a lot of control away from this, and Swirl will be afforded with the frag onto Disco, but now he has to try and collect a little bit more. Gaz is actually going to find a fair bit of damage onto Tux, and now this makes it really, really uncomfortable, Dion, because 3 of these 4 members alive for Order are extremely low, and it's going to put themselves into a very, very awkward situation. But now jumping down onto the side, Gaza has to try and find something more. Going to be taken down through the cage there by Autumn, and now they just sit patiently, still hacking the defuse. Camera's going to be destroyed. Swell's going to be able to find something. Ferg does pick up one more, but now they have to try and lock this down. They have to stick the defuse, and there is the orbital strike as well. Nothing is going to be collected here by Demon. It's just going to be Ferg trying to find the final kill. As he's not got enough time, he will get the kill, but now he will likely go down to that spike as the Radiant goes out. Yes, he will.
Oh.
Another round is selected and secured by Order 3-0.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough there. Not gonna lie, for Demon, they had the right idea to be looking after the flank over at the B site from Signs there. Couldn't quite get the execution, however, and then just into the retake, you know, Texter being able to get that kill through the cage, really just aligning well placed for Order. And on that bonus round, I would have liked to say that they could have gathered some free upgrades, but with everybody losing their life at the closing of the round, it does put in good faith for Order to be able to find this next one on that board and really just align themselves quite nicely in the opening stages. 4-0, you're laughing.
That's a very, very nice start, and Swirl, he's going to be punished early for his aggression by Dick Stacey there, but in the end, he does manage to get himself away. So now a little bit more of a slower pace here from Order again inside mid. They don't want to over-aggress. Once again, you know, it's something we talk about. They know that they're going to be sending the aggression down nice and early. Swirl will be able to take the Aldrone out, but he has been tagged up again. So that's Dick Stacey finding him twice. But still, a minute left on the clock, plenty of time to work with, and no action just yet.
Yeah, it's just putting out the feelers at this point in time for Order, seeing if there's going to be any allotted stack to come out from Demon. It's just the Deadly Sheriffs to be purchased up in this round, a little bit of the light shields as well to try to maybe steal away a rifle, put it into one of their capable hands, and just see what damage they're going to be able to inflict. And you know that Order are very seasoned and experienced in situations like this. It's going to be acting accordingly, but there is a lot of information for Demon right now. Starting to rotate all over to this A site. Maple's tucked over in the short corner, and no one's coming up through sewers as well. This could be a slaughter.
If Maple's able to find a few big frags here, it actually could go very, very large with Dick Stacey. He's going to collect onto both Swirl and Ferg, but I guess the main thing here, Maple does only have that classic, but he's only one ultimate point away from getting those knives. So if he's able to pick up on Cheeky One with the classic, he actually might be able to get something here. They are certainly aware of the prospect, though. Dick Stacey's watching towards that position, but there's the frag that we spoke about, Dion. Now he's got the knives. Now he actually can go for it, but in the end, Texter does find Gaza on the trade here, and there's Maple to go down, so he doesn't go for the knives. Ultimately, they are just going to give up the round, and with 4 for Order, yet really anything to be shown by Demon, but I suppose, you know, they haven't had the right opportunity yet. Now they got the full buy, the operator goes into the hand of Maple, and with those knives as the backup, he should be able to at least do some damage.
Yeah, well, defensive side of Haven can always be a little bit of a fickle thing because you have to look at so many extremity points in this matchup, and hopefully now that the rifles are going to be back for Demon, they're going to be able to find an opening pick, maybe rely upon Maple getting that with the operator. We know that they are very potent to be able to bring that up time and time again, and also very versatile, Mitch, in where they want to deploy that operator. We've seen it at times be over towards C, elevated on the site, but for now, it's going to be overlooking long A as Swirl pushes up. So a lot of early information for Demon right now. And Order, they are putting a lean on towards this C site in the early beginnings.
Well done from Texter here to actually get inside the cubby. Ferg goes for a couple of warning shots, only tags up once, so nothing really is secured as of yet. Disco, I think, actually did catch him on the shoulder there, so the information is given, but it seems like it's actually the aggression up towards long A here, Dion. That's what I'm looking at right now, is Swirl already up in that position on the Phoenix. Now they are rotating a couple of members over, but I think the main thing is Hux is going to be ready for this one, so he needs to be careful. And he's actually going to start to wander back. So I'm interested to see how Swirl plays this one because, again, you know, he's in a good position and we know how large this band can go if he does play the timing right. And it looks like he is indeed not looking to overextend. So he's ready for this.
Fergus heard nothing over at the C site with those brimstone smokes going down. The 20-second fade out is done, so there's information trying to be gathered out from Demon. But again, Order, they're trying to pump out this little double fake. Left. They've got their Cypher just lurking up toward the A site in Tux right now, but they're not even going with that, or Gaza rather, at that at all. No, it is Tux. I lied. Demon Now, with that opening pick, it's gone over towards this C site, but look at the time, Conky. There's only 10 seconds to go, and the spike is that long. It has to run in.
They have to go immediately now. Gaza could be able to stop it, but in the end, Disco is going to be the man to take it down. Signed actually getting... Oh, Signed! This could be huge beyond. If the timing is right, on the shot that! No, not quite. He doesn't actually come down from time, but there's Signed to find some more, and he will actually be able to do the damage. So the shock darts, whilst they don't get the job done, the 3K certainly does. And finally, after Order, looking like they collected so much control, Ferg was able to keep them occupied long enough that Maple and Signed were able to rotate over, and they ultimately do deny after getting the plant down. So a great 3K from Signed means that Demon are finally on the board with 1.
On the board for 1, and they definitely do want to carry this moving forward. They take over that operator into the new round, but Autumn's brought out 1 on his jet as well, so getting ready for that activation. And you can just see, you know, all of these names, the stature behind them, mixing up Gaza and Tux there, quite an easy thing given once upon a time, you know, so... We'll see how this round is going to turn out. I guess the most important thing for Demon, you know, is it is going to be the milestone of chasing this number of 4 that Order do have right now. Gather that opening pick if they can, because we've already seen the double pump fake come out from Order. They managed to get the spike down low. It's just they lost out those picks to Signed in that round. So it'll give key info over to Order now to get a little bit faster happening in the rounds.
Yeah, well, I'm interested just in how this A-take is going to go again, because they've done the exact same thing. Warning shot does go off. They might not actually look to clear this, but in the end he does. However, Swirl, he is there, and he's ready to go large. The third ball does come out, but the damage! Big Stacy with the stutter step, and he's actually going to be able to find it. The Gaza is there on the trade as well. The cage will go down, and he walks on up. Now, are they going to be ready for this here? Autumn has to be able to fire quick. Gaza, he's ready on the opposing side. They do line up, but in the end, Autumn will be able to collect on the trade. Now, he does start to move back. 50 seconds remain, but look at Ferg's positioning. He is getting up towards the window. He just has to be careful to not make too much sound. Certainly a winnable round for Autumn, but looks like Ferg does get the information now. Autumn actually looks to go for the dash around. Ferg could look to keep him in place here as he does reposition into the window.
Yeah, and a 1 versus 2 is very capable to come out from Autumn. He has picked up this Vandal as opposed to the operator. The Bladestorm alive and kicking as well if he wants to be able to bring it out. But with that Cloudburst going down into Garage, it's now onto this almost retake scenario just from Signed and Ferg. Autumn clearing all of the corners will give them a little bit more time to sneak their way up Garage together. But with the plant going down, I think his feet are going to be seen. It's actually going to be the head that gets ripped off. And Demon will claim their second round, backing up that first one. Order, though, enough credits.
Very well done. Demon, you know, able to find that right amount of timing. And once again, it was the control that we, you know, sort of looked at in the previous round to see if the Phoenix of Swirl was actually able to find anything. And ultimately, no, it was Tux to send the lurk and the fake. But this time, the Maple and the Swirl double up towards A-Long actually was what the Doctor ordered there. So very, very nicely done by Demon to find what they have so far. I expect to see a lot more coming out from them over the next couple of rounds as well. So despite Order getting off to a good start, at least, you know, Demon is still in it to win it here.
You know, beginning stages of the new round, Mitch, Demon, they have put a lot of pressure up to A-Long before, and that's why Order are going to start to clear it out methodically right now and actually be given a lot of breathing room up towards the side of A. The Owl drone will be spotting out 2 players over at this A site, and that's info for Order. They know that both of these duelists are around this A site. They could look to withdraw and overwhelm the forces of the more supportive characters right now, but it is still these early stages in the round. The back off to come out from Order. Lots of damage already delivered onto Tux as well through that mid wall is certainly not how you want to start off a round.
Starting to walk on up to B now, but the main thing is there's already a couple of these Demon members here nice and early, but every single member does make their way up. Order's going to dash up onto that site now, but look at that dart. So much information given by Signed, and now the shock darts to go down. Does actually force him off the plant, but Dick Stacy will get back onto it. Now it's going to be a very, very interesting 5 versus 5 retake on towards this B site. Autumn and Signed already going to find the opening couple of picks now. Back to the 4v4. Ultimately Maple able to pick up another. I don't think they're actually ready for this member that's still on site, creeping around, but in the end it's damage coming back forward, left, right, and center, and Gaza will find 2, Swirl to close it, and that is Demon, a very, very clean round, only losing Ferg, 4 members on, and the third round is collected by these defenders.
yeah, one of the biggest things as well for Demon there is they actually baited out that orbital strike and tapping this spike nice and early. So Texter isn't going to have that to utilize in the next couple of rounds, which will really lead in for Demon to get aggressive a little bit more and try to, I guess, drop the spike before they can look in for the plant, make their endeavors a little bit easier, especially now so that there isn't enough credits in the back pocket of Demon to justify the full-on purchase. So it's back to the drawing board, and it is back to maybe a little bit of heightened aggression from then get out the full garage, bust through potentially right now, but there's just so many strategies, and it's still really early game in the series as well. We've only seen a couple of these rifle rounds come on through, and you know, it's that sort of grace period as well. How has Maple found that kill on Dick Stacy? That's through the Aldrone and the wall.
Very nice start. You love to see
Very
it.
lucky start.
Ferg able to find 2 here, but then he is quickly traded out by Tux, but that is not exactly the trade you want to be looking at. That's going to be Gaza to find something as well. Texter burning down, but he's actually managed to find some damage here. 2 frags found as well. Now onto the 1 versus 2, but he's got the operator here, Dion. He's going to be able to get the spike down onto that A site, and it is planted in a pretty decent position for him as well. He's actually going to move up on nice and close. The Aldrone's going to come out. Will he find the right amount of timing? No, he will not. The drone does get him at the right time. The Molotov is going to go down too, but he doesn't miss the... Oh no, that was such a close round in the end by Texter. I felt like he had the capacity to bring that one through, but in the end, no. It is going to be Demon finding another one, and they will tie up this scoreline 4-4. A very, very nice return fire, I guess you could say. Or to start with 4, and then we get the backhanded serve, and yeah, ultimately we find ourselves here with the tied up game once more. Haven is certainly proving to be a great opening map here on this setup.
And it's no ace for Demon in that round either, because they do drop 3 players in the end to the half buy that Order does present us. I'm still a little bit jaw-dropped at Maple's luck in finding Dick Stacy through the wall on that Aldrone, because they just line up, unfortunately. But for Texter, you know, to bring it back in maybe a somewhat workable scenario, was taken down to really low HP, however, and that missing of the Molotov as well does mean that we do get things tied up 4-4 right now. We got a little bit of a technical pause to just come on through at the moment, so we will sit pretty for the time being. But Mitch, we are going to be back into the rifle rounds now, and this is another chance for Order to be able to, I guess, reinstill a little bit of findings in the game, because 4 rounds in a row that they have lost out to Demon right now. It's starting to get a little bit fickle.
Yeah, they're finding their picks, because I felt like, you know, Order were very much ahead of the curve at the very start of the game. You know, they were ready for any sort of aggression, but it looks like, you know, in the end, hey, something I talk about, Dion, stop pushing when you're a defending team. But there you go. That's what's happening right now. It looks like Demon are playing a little bit more of a passive approach. They're happy to take control of the positions without overextending, and ultimately they haven't been overwhelmed at the process. But look, there's still plenty of the half left, and ultimately still plenty of the game remaining. So we're 8 rounds in now, onto the 9th shortly. And then, yeah, still, this is the thing. You know, the map of Haven is very open. I don't typically feel like it's actually any one-sided. You know, there's so much space that the attackers can actually pick up as they move on through. But here we go. We're back into it right now as the time ticks down. Thank you guys for being patient. And now we move along for this big one, continuing on Demon versus Order for Haven. And that's a great opening pick by Maple there.
And there it is as well. I talked about the versatility from Demon being able to position Maple in so many different spots and just really rely upon that opening pick, and they've done it now. We saw it yesterday over all of those sky smokes that were actually put down through towards Long when they faced off against the Direwolves. So again, you know, Order, in losing that first opening pick, it's on them to be able to force the issue, force the hand of Demon, and it's going to look to be just a very quick retake in towards this A side as well, because Order, they're feeling no presence here at the current time.
They've done very, very well to go on here without really any sort of pressure, but as you say, I suppose after that opening pick, you know, giving the early advantage, run it back now will come out by Swirl, so he's going to be able to get over towards that side very, very quickly, and does afford himself a frag on the Tux there. Texter will also go down to the Hunter's Fury, sent out by Signed. Now it's all onto just Disco and Dick Stacy. Certainly 2 equipped players that should be able to get it done. Dick Stacy up on the site. So much utility being sent out. First frag is found by Disco. He's actually going to be able to get out, but then in the end will be taken down by the shock dart of Sign. Great usage of that utility on the Sova. Now we're back to it with a lead coming out from Demon. This is great to see in the opening map.
Out of charges.
Yep, they take the lead for the first time. They've been able to solidify 5 in a row. It's really good use of their abilities there. They're specifically their ultimate abilities, Mitch. You know, they find that opening pick, they relieve the pressure at A, let order come in, because they've got that setup of the run it back coupled with the dart to go down first, and then the Hunter's Fury. It's a really good line of those ultimates, and it gets so much information, it gets so much impact, and it flusters order around the side as well, that you could see when it is in that 2 versus 5 situation. Disco and Dick Stacy are just forced off their lines into uncomfortable positions, and Demon capitalize upon that. It's a scrappy buy to come through for order now, and we've seen them just get belittled on their full buys. Is this going to be a turn of events though? We'll have to wait and see, because again, as I mentioned, it is a weird sort of uncomfortable purchase for order right now.
Okie dokie. So just sort of changing up that position once more a little bit. Ferg, great pick through the door there outside of garage. Texter looking to get into the window position though, might not be ready for it. Ferg is though, but he will be taken down by Texter. A very, very nice pick up there. So it looks like Order are starting to move their way back into it. The spike is heading over towards that A site though. Once again, Tux has made a very, very nice call. Sign to be tagged up very heavily by that orbital strike as well. Texter is going to be the linchpin here, the thorn in the side for this side, because it looks like Gaza still on that camera. He's going to be taken down by Texter. What a lurk here on the big brimstone right now. The beard apparently giving him powers, and it looks like it's going to be Tux to collect onto Swirl as well. So this should be very much a save call to come out for Demon. Very, very challenging one to find their way back into. Maple is actually sort of toying with the idea, I guess. He does pick up the Vandal. He might actually look to go for it here to try and get some further damage. They do exactly right. And ultimately, there is only 1 more round left in that half. So, or no, 2 rather. So they still got an opportunity, but Maple might be spotted out by that bolt.
There's the Molotov.
That's it. Certainly out of this round now. But hey, look, well done. Zorda getting it back to a 5-5.
Lots of utility utilized there from Order. The recon dart to go on through the camera and the Molotov just to buy a lot of time. And that's a lot of exit damage to be cleaned up as well. Signed 1 shock data pre-fire out, and everybody of Order loses their life, but at least they gain the rounds to be able to tie us up again. I mentioned the sort of scrappy buy that they went into that one with, but they make it work. Texter insane on that flank. Even just finding that 1 kill steers everything in the direction well placed for Order. Tux, even with that Spectre, pushed up through towards the defender spawn, and he claims the life of 1. And I mean, I get the idea of Maple in the end, you know, to try and find that extra damage, try and keep Order contained in the site to be able to lose their lives with the explosion at the end. And it works out well for them. Demon had enough cash to invest in this round, and we're back to this sort of even slate where Sign finds a new opener.
Yeah, well done from Sign to get that pick onto Tux. You know, the in-game leader going down early can certainly have an impact on the Ray. The rest of the round does play out. But Texter, you know, he's been doing very well so far to sort of pull the information and those rotates. Ferg will make his way back into the garage, but it looks like it actually will be taken control of by the attacking side here of Order as they do make their way in. Texter, though, finding that frag onto Ferg. Very aggressive to be pushing in that position. Gaza's going to be able to find the trade, though, at least. Now he moves inside the cage. Disco's actually ready for this. Gaza maybe going for the pick that he doesn't need to, and Disco is going to punish him for that. Looking to get some further control, though. Now he misses a couple of warning shots. Swell's going to be able to find that trade. That's very nicely done now. 3-on-2 with Order at the strict disadvantage here. Now they have to make their way back over towards Long. The Owl drone might actually pick up some information as it does head its way back out, but Dick Stacy, no. He's going to be able to make his way down, and with that plant being somewhat for them, it's a little bit awkward, though, Dion. It's not actually quite on the perfect line for them, and with Maple holding that on top of it, the spike will come out, so that does give the information in, but looks like now they are playing off this Hunter's Fury, and that will take Swell off. But with the spike already at halfway, they still have to play it very, very well. Just going to tap away nice and slowly. Can he find it? Great shot from Autumn. Signed. We'll be able to find one back, but now they have to just tap onto it. Another Autumn! This is an incredible play. The tap onto the side. He's run out of time, and it should be Autumn to find it. It will. That is an incredible play by the Jet, and Order take the lead back.
Last round.
Yeah, really well placed from Order there. The Dick Stacy recon bolt to go in toward the site to spot out that information actually catches Maple up on top of the site, forcing him to kind of renegotiate where he wants to play with his team around the site. Hunter's Fury gets bought out, not with the intent to find any kills, just to misplace them off the spike diffusal, and then the time is just bought from Dick Stacy. Maple, sharp shots, shoulder shots to catch the heads, and there's just no time to get the defuse out in the end. It was a great idea for Demon, you know, go into into the retake with your rail drone, your blaze wall up as well, just to offside the info from Order, but a little bit of that great placed utility from them, and they managed to place the round, at least tying it in the half as Ferg opens up on to Techstar. There's no smokes now really available for Order. Cloudbursts and cages can be utilized, and Demon, though, they're even hungry for more information right now, Mitch.
Yeah, look at this. Ferg already making his way out, taking that control, and that's actually going to be his second frag in the round. Luckily, Big Stacy will find the trade, but it's a little bit late in the piece right now. They're going to send him away from the window by spamming through the wall as well. But it is going to be that A site being taken once more. Tux has been doing very, very well to be able to find that. Look at this line. He should find this frag, but no! Actually, a little bit out of character there for Tux. He does miss a couple of shots, and Maple actually will be rewarded as well. So that's a bit of a blunder to come out from Tux. And now he's going to go down as well, straight onto the side. Big Stacy will take him out, but Gaza finds the trade, and Demon. We end up with a 6-6 half, Dion, and that is exactly what we want to be seeing on the opening map of this grand final.
It's exactly what we want to be seeing, and it's exactly what, you know, one of these teams want to be seeing in this matchup as well, because remember, this is the map pick to come through from Order, which means at the half, Demon, they're going to be more happier in the matchup than Order are at the moment, though that's not to be solidified in stone just yet, because we still have the promise of, you know, at least 7 more rounds rather, if it goes one way's team from here. But with how it's going so far, Mitch, I wouldn't even be surprised if we go over into that sort of, you know, full regulation rounds. It's what we've been expecting to come through from these matches. We've both really expected this to go the distance for all 3 maps. Still kind of the early signs, everybody starting to really warm up in toward this matchup. For those that may be wondering as well, this is still on that old 2.02 patch. That's why you see here Disco on the Reyna with the 4 ability usages, but also this weapon here, the Frenzy, as well manages to take out a trade onto Disco.
Yeah, look, big shout out to Riot Games for actually nerfing the Frenzy. It sounds like they listened. Very nice to see. But in this patch, it still reigns supreme, of course, as you do mention. Now look at this from Big Stacy. He goes in aggressive, but he actually is rewarded for it. And he looks to find another onto Swell. Swell does get the trade back. He's in a very awkward situation now. Goes for a couple of warning shots as well, but looks like Techstar is ready for that aggression. The spike is down still in the hands of Signs, so it still is very much a winnable round, but Techstar needs to wait to see if something can come back up for him, because he does need that heal. I think the Hot Hands needs to be reset with another frag. So slowly walking up long here, just creeping around. If the peak comes through, Sign might be rewarded, but it still looks like it won't be. So 40 seconds remain. They waltz back towards long, and still Order in the advantage.
Yeah, the Sign and Swirl duo, it is a scary thing, that is for sure, but Signed,
30 seconds
he has to
left.
kind of lead the charge right now. As you can see, there's only 8 HP for Swirl. If he finds one pick, he can heal up in his own Hot Hands. He'll probably look to lead the charge in with a curveball, but that camera placement from Tux, if he finds the right timing, if they went through mid, could have been a crucial amount of information. 15 seconds, they have to run over towards C. Tux doesn't even have to initiate a fight right now. They've got the player advantage. They know that they probably could take one fight and give it a little bit of a better slate for the team on the retake. 5, 4, Spike isn't going down. It's in the nick of time. Cage can be popped, and we're on for a retake.
Very nicely done to actually find that spike plant, though. But look, there's so much that needs to be found, and it's going to be Sign to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Oh my God! Well, are you kidding me? This guy, he has no HP, but apparently the cojones on this man are too heavy, and he throws himself through the smoke. But in the end, it will luckily be Techstar that can actually get them, you know, get them back into it. Because, yeah, 7 rounds for Order, but that was super, super close. Swirl almost going colossal again.
Yeah, you speak about that again. What is it with Swirl, Haven, and Seaside? The insane plays we've seen from him time and time again, from a classic ace at the back of the site from a previous tournament to that ace yesterday, the extreme mowdown with the Vandal, and then here a 4K on the Frenzy. Just can't quite get it out, but I mean, hey, that will definitely keep things electric in their communications, and hopefully to be brought on forward into the next round as well, because they have decided to buy back after getting that spike plant down and tackle against Order, who did admittedly win that pistol round, but who are on a sort of even slate buy of their own.
But now they're absolutely marching up to this position now of C, and the information will be given the recon vault, but it looks like they've actually stopped now. They're not super keen to continue on. Gaza is still leaving that information down back towards the flank, and immediately the rotate actually does start to be pulled away. So now it looks like, you know, they're going to sort of settle, get some further information, retaking control of Garage. Will be Tux and Techstar, that iconic duo from all the way back in the Chief CS days. God, it has been around for a while. And also a reminder that Dick Stacey and Texter actually were, one of those teams to find their way playing over internationally. Back, I think it was Dark-Sided. That's how long ago this all, sort of spurs back. But look, Valorant is not CS. It's a completely different beast. And that's what makes it very, very sort of, high energy, high electricity. And I suppose that's why Swirl is such a good fit for it because, it's not like he's making really, bad decisions. He's creating space for himself. He's using his utility to its advantage and, almost coming close. So regardless, this is Demon putting themselves in a good situation now
30 seconds
to,
left.
still at least, whilst they lose the round, they've created a lot of damage to the order economy and now they've given themselves another opportunity. But 20 seconds left, they've got to go now.
And it's also, Ferg and Gaz are putting in the confidence in Swell to be able to lead the charge in towards a lot of these opportunities. And to Maple, he's just gathered so much information on the run it back, the target of not to get killed, but to force them out and put them into the retake. Although it's not really looking too crash hot for Demon right now. Order opening up with 2 of these kills on the retake. They've got that Texter Sky Smoke still available over towards Long, you would expect right now. Sim Beacon down. Ferg relieves Texter of his head, however, with the Stinger. All these players mounting out their hold from Long. Dick Stacey to find sign. Swirl drops, and it's only down to the last member in Ferg. But he's put into the grave as well. And on the retake, Order survived with 4. And that was Demon's force as well. So quite unfortunate.
It's just exactly what I wanted to get to, Dion. Did you see that aggression heading down C-Long from the side of Order? It's so often that you see them playing for that long plant. They just sort of awkwardly tap the spike and hope that people peek them. But in this instance, it's Order sending 3 members all the way down Long to try and find those frags. They know they've got the advantage weaponry. So very, very smartly played, in my opinion, from Order there. Well done.
No, definitely do agree with you. It's also knowing in the fact that Demon have purchased up, that their weapons aren't looking that too brilliant at the long distance. You see 1 on the Stinger catch a frag at that long distance, but Order numbers advantage, catch Demon off guard as well, make him a little bit shaky and gather out that round. It's 2 for Order and no purchase to come through really from Demon here. It makes things a little bit more dire for them when they do get out that rifle round. Hopefully they're able to claim it. Speaking of, Texter claims Gaza and a whole lot of information as well. Demon are locked in to this A-long position because you've got that flank, you've got the push up through short sewers now as well, and this is just not going to go their way.
Well done from Order here to find these frags. These are the ones that they need. This is the rounds where they can't afford to lose any members. They want the economy to be established as best as possible, and they are making good use of these Spectres here. And it looks like some further damage should be dealt onto Maple in just a second. He will now be taken down. Now it's all on the side. They should have the information shortly. There it is. It's collected. And he's going to head back in the window, but he should be going down in just a second. And that should be another round. Oh, there you go. Even the no-scope. God, this Marshall. And a reminder, guys, the Marshall has actually been buffed in the next patch.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait to see how the next sort of meta is going to establish itself over in that new patch. Had a little dabble in it yesterday, and I wasn't too, impressed at where I went in toward those ranked games, but that's a story for another day, because the story that we're singing right now, Mr. Mitchell, is Order have 3 rounds of padding coming into the first real purchase for Demon on this side. It is your quote bonus round to be seen from Order with those Spectres, still that Marshall in hand, but a free ultimate orb to be gathered over at the side of A long, and Texter now has that orbital strike as well, and on the defensive side, that can be used to deny Spike Plant as well as Autumn finding his counterpart Jet.
And yeah, don't worry, every time I think about matchmaking, even in Immortal and Radiant, I still feel like I'm picking up my kids from daycare, but that's another story for another time. So now moving back, Order. I love that position from Autumn to be able to go for the confident peek out towards, even with that Marshall, because obviously the side of of Demon now, they've got the full bite. And now with those Vandals and everything like that, they should be able to find much more control. Already clearing up, Ferg taking on a very, very similar role to Tux, looking to clear that information nice and early. Dick Stacey, though, does have the Recon Bolt available and ready to throw down onto that site. Swirl about to get the curveball out. So there's the information control taken. Dick Stacey is ready to rock and roll with it, waiting for that spike plant. But Ferg actually going, no, he's just ready for it instead. So that's both bits of utility that are actually thrown down Dion for a post plant. It's actually going to give him space.
and the orbital strike. They're just really reluctant on making sure that Demon do not get that plant down. And for Demon, they've already got players that are outside of the site. Aldrin going in as Gaza manages to dispatch of Dick Stacy, but the flooding to come through from spawn. Gaza, he just has this line right now. A third one would be phenomenal. Will get penetrated through the box by Disco. 3 versus 3 scenario. 2 playing Hell, 1 over at long. Could be quite tricky, but Swirl good for 1. More trades established, and it's only on to Disco. 1 versus 2. 7 bullets in the chamber. Bit preemptive from Verge. Try to get that out. The shot to be aligned by Disco doesn't work for Signs to close out the round.
Very, very close there in the end by Order, almost finding it back. Disco did so well to find 3 frags and narrowly missing as he ran out of bullets as he had to swap over to the Sheriff. But still, you know, good composure from Sign. He's had a great game so far as well. But I feel like across the board, the frags are actually relatively spread out. Texter is sitting atop the scoreboard with 17. But look, it's very much a team effort from everyone. So Order with 9 rounds. Demon now finding their way back into this one after Order did extend out with those 3 rounds after the pistol. But 7, 2 rounds the difference. 1 more is all that needs to be found by Demon to at least reset the economy. And they're making a early sort of play towards the A position. But look at this from Texter. So much mid control, and Fergie's going to be caught out.
Yeah, completely not expecting that whatsoever. The stride of Texter, he just takes those long steps, and now it's an advantage for Order. Even more information to be gathered that there's no repressure over in towards mid, and they can just rely on the fact that the round will look to simmer down at the current time. Demon, they do have Signs Hunter's Fury available, a recon dart in 5 seconds to maybe throw over towards A, gather some information, as that's where Swirl is starting to head over towards, see if there is any presence from the Order side there, which we know that there is 3, so definitely a large lean for Order to that A side, a retake over towards B, maybe even towards C if they want to, but the driver's seat definitely does have an Order member in its place right now.
So 45 seconds. Creeping up towards that B site now. Maple looking to hold the line. They actually do break the tripwire as well, so that's going to be the information given. The recon bolt from Dick Stacy, that actually should get a lot of information. It will. There you go. There's the info straight onto Maple. He does go for this swing, but in the end, he does dash away. Now he's going to have some players moving through, though. Not quite going to get the no-scope off, so Texter will be the man to find the first, and now they're going to get the stim beacon onto this bomb as well. The spike, rather, as Swirl gets to swung. Oh, gets the swing round, actually, onto him by Tux, but Sign's in a good position here. Now Gaza, oh, this is such a good lurking from Gaza, finding Autumn. The mural theft comes out. Now Gaza looking to find the second, but Texter, he's found another, and Dick Stacy, you're right, exactly, Dion, he's locked it down. Sign does find another, and he finds a 30, but maybe even the 4th for good measure. But you know what Order got? The round. So that's 10. Picked up. Great stick from Dick Stacy.
That's one of the things that you come out with the Hunter's Fury as well. Every single time on its last bolt, you can stick that spike because it can only do the maximum of 80 damage. And for Dick Stacy, you know, he's just comfortable and reliant on his teammates to be able to hold down those lurks. You see that there was a great flank to come in from Gaza, but that gets traded out immediately. And then all Sign is really good for is those sort of exit kills to make the buy a little bit more attempted to be a little bit more pressured in the next round. But we know Order have enough money to re-dip into the pockets. Blades is going to be brought out as well as all of their Vandals, and it is double digits now for Order. Demon, Mitch is looking a little bit more scary for them now.
Well done from Disco. That early aggressive peak up as Texter. He's going to be punished. So there's the 2 top fraggers that actually trade it out over towards Garage. So Sign, very well done. But Dick Stacy finds the right amount of timing and denying any sort of re-entry back into it, because look at his control now. Oh, this is big here. Swirl, he might if he finds the right timing, but Disco, he's got the line and he seems to be aware of it, but Swirl does find Dick Stacy.
Oh, wow.
My God, Disco, what a spray transfer there. It's all on the Gaza now, but Disco has just done so much, and he actually doesn't even overextend either. He moves into heaven, and that's going to put Gaza into a very, very uncomfortable situation, wondering why the peak hasn't come out. The Lear will force him away, but now he can't even get the spike down, Dion.
Yeah, it's not just the kills that he manages to get in that spray transfer. It's all the information that there were players in towards B, and that's why you could see the crunch from Order start to reposition. Gaza's 1 versus 3 now. The attempt will be taken out by Tux, and it puts Order in a very well-versed state right now on 11, looking hungry for their 12th one. All of those engagements that were played out there, Demon really didn't have any positions to get out trades, which is a really unfortunate thing, because usually, you know, we see a lot of those trade setups come out for them. A little bit of luck in that spray transfer for Disco, potentially, but no matter which way you look at it, Mitch, it's Demon on a struggle buy right now, maybe conceding over 12 to Order, and then they cannot make a mistake for the next 5 rounds that they will be chasing.
No, absolutely. They need to get their way back into it now. Obviously, only with the Sheriffs here, it's going to be a challenge. But regardless, you know, we know how sharp these players are, and it's not exactly an uncommon thing to see the Sheriffs actually pull a round out in Valorant. Autumn does narrowly miss that shot, but Tex has done it again. Look at this. I love this mid-control and Swirl. Apparently jumping through the smoke, and he won't be able to find anything off the back of it. Maple does have to move around to the orbital strike, but Texter, he's picked up 3, put it straight into the bag. As now he moves back towards the B site as well. Ferg will be heading out mid side, will be joining him. But this definitely looks like it's going to be another round for Order as they slowly make their way towards this 13 to 7 victory potentially, which means that Demon has actually only found the 1 round on this side. Tucks in Order to close the round, and Order map point here on map number 1 of the grand final.
Match point.
And their map pick as well, Mitch, which means it does give us a little bit of, I guess maybe saving grace, a little bit of hope for Demon going into their choice of a bind. But we know Order, again, can be a scary team.
Yeah.
And really, whatever map that you give them, on my memory, you know, Order, they beat EXO on bind once upon a time, and that was their, you know, strongest map. So it was a little while ago, admittedly. Nevertheless, Order, 5 rounds ahead, 5 rounds of cushioning, great purchase to be seen. They've got the Hunter's Fury for info or for damage. You've got Swirl, though, with the run it back, so it's going to have to be utilized over at this C site. Here comes the hit, though. Gazza to open onto Disco. There is still Tux lurking around the site.
This is the one that needs to be big for Demon. We've already seen Swirl pick up 2, but Autumn picks up Gaza as he pushes towards Demon. Still have the man advantage here as they move around. They have to go for this retake as Autumn does actually push back into mid. The recon bolt will come out from Dick Stacey, but he's going to get no information. Once again, they've gone for this long plant, gone for the play. Ferg is very, very low. He's going to be that first point of contact. Dick Stacey actually does have the Hunter's Fury as well, but so does Sign. And who is going to be using this one early? Oh, he actually gets the tag up. This could make it really, really awkward. And there we go. Oh no, narrowly missing the second one here actually as well. And now there's the second Hunter's Fury to come out. He's going to get tagged up. He looks to get it to half here, Dion. But now he waits for the last shot to go through. Now it's been expended. Now it's been wasted. Autumn has to try and hold this. But Ferg, he will collect. And that should very well be the round. And it will be very nicely done there from Demon. But it gets so tight and the clutch almost comes out. But Dion, one thing that I did actually want to touch on is the coolest thing about Order is what we're seeing, right? Is, you know, very, very commonly, I guess, in the Oceanic region, it's like, one player is doing bad, let's kick them, or let's disband. You know, it seems to be such a common thing to be coming through. But in the Order situation, right, they know they're all fundamentally insane at the game. Let's try switch up some roles. And that's exactly what they've done. You know, Texter has always traditionally been the fragger in every single role that he's played. You know, I feel he's always one of the most exciting players that's come out of our region from an FPS standpoint. But he is on the supportive sort of play. You know, he's still fragging. And that's the coolest thing about this game. You don't have to be on a duelist to put on numbers. It's just about how you can use your skill set, knowledge, and ability to benefit your team. And Sign, he's going to do his own benefiting, picking up the first.
And you could line Tux in that standpoint as well, previously being on that jet. But right now, it is the Order show claiming all of these kills. No matter the role you give them, frags are going to be in Fortune. And Maple now to try and clutch it out with Gaza. They are at least able to force Order back off the site, but this is an even worse scenario for them. They're not going to be able to have really good stead in their holds. It's all down onto Gaza, lurking into Garage, but he's going to overlook the most crucial spot, and that is exactly where Autumn lurks around. 13 now for Order, Mitch, and that is map number 1 being found by Order Army.
You absolutely love to see it. Order picking up that 13, their map selection here on Haven, showing us here at the Let's Play Live studios that we know exactly what the guys coming to play for. You know, they've come in as probably one of the favorites in the competition. We obviously had Wildcard, we had Demon, but Order right now at the helm. And with that first map, we're going to be moving into the map selection, obviously, of Demon on Bind. But man, you know, this could look like it's a potential 2-0 at the moment, Dion.
Yeah, the way the Order were going on that one, it potentially could be. But remember, Demon have picked Bind, and hopefully for a reason, they will change up their agents when they do go over onto that map. I'm going to be keen to see Swell back on that raise because we know he can be very jumpy. But speaking of seeing another beautiful face, Dallas, what did you think of that one, mate?
Wow, I thought you were going to call me jumpy there for a second, but yeah, that was absolutely insane there. You know, Order picking up the pace there towards the end of the game, figuring out what Demon were throwing at them, and really solidifying a strong position there on map number 1. We are going to go to a quick 5-minute break, and when we get back, we'll be here for all the action for map number 2. So stay with us and don't go anywhere. We'll see you after the break. Hello and welcome back to the Valorant Oceanic Tour here, presented to you by LPL. I am Dallas Easy Fighter. Joining me here, Komodo and Conky, just across the ditch in Australia, and we've just seen match number 1 there. Order taking on Demon, and Order putting on a bit of a show for us. Komodo, what did you think about match number 1 there?
Very well versed from Order in everything they went into, from their entries, from their trades, and the control that they were able to, find for themselves, but also the lack of control that Demon were really having, and those pressure points that Order were just putting on the pressure on. You know, they were really just allaying the pain, and for Demon there were the glimmers of hope for them, but in my words you can hear it. It's kind of awkward because there were a lot of times where Demon, they didn't really have a comeback against Order there.
Yeah, and I mean, Conky, talk to us about it a bit as well. Texter was putting on an absolute clinic there in mid defense, an absolute machine there. So, what do you think? What are your takeaways from match number 1 there?
Yeah, well, look, I just love the way that they actually set it up. Texter and Tux both sort of had that lurk style play. They didn't really need to take their team with them. They sort of went off to different parts of the map to try and find that control, pulling the rotates really well. You quite often saw how they were able to take the A or C sides without really much challenge, and then it was very much on Demon to try and retake that. And that's sometimes how you have to actually play Haven. It can be really, really awkward when you're on that site by yourself and you get overwhelmed. Instead, it's sometimes better to just sort of fall away, go back with the rest of your team, which Demon did sort of look to do, but Order were really, really well versed in sending them back. So I thought they had a really good start, Order, and then obviously, when Demon were able to bring that back to a 6-6 half, it was like, oh, damn, okay, we've got a really good game on our hands. But then when Order came over to that defending side, they were just too good. Really, we couldn't see Demon try to collect that control back that Order managed to do on the attacking side.
And that's a really interesting point as well, because I heard you guys mention this a few times throughout your cast there as well, is that, Demon on that defensive side, when they're pushing, they're overextending a little bit too much, right? But, Order, when they're managing to put that, a little bit of push, a little bit of map control on their defensive side, they're able to find just enough to solidify them with that map control, and then they're able to fall back. So is that really one of the big sort of takeaways there for match number 1, do you think?
Look, it's definitely a takeaway from that, but at the end of the day, Order, they've got the experience in a multitude of FPS titles beforehand that they, have that experience and can apply that into this game. Demon, whilst they've got players of that caliber as well, they're still quite a young team in terms of, being together in this game. You heard Mitch talk about that earlier. Order have been together. They've just changed their roles up internally, so they're still putting all of those good virtues in toward the game, and it really just does come forward for them to look like very well-placed and well-played Valorant.
For sure, for sure. So if you're just joining us there, we've seen Order put a very strong performance there together on Haven. We are going to be getting into Split right now. So without further ado, let's throw it over to the lovely duo of Komodo and Conky and take us away, boys.
Split will be map number 3 for the time. It is Bind, and it will actually be the map selection, of course, of Demon here, which, as Dion mentioned earlier on, for anyone who was not watching earlier on, they do know that this map is actually very, very strong for Order as well. So maybe Demon have got something that's going to throw a little bit of a curveball in here. We're interested to see it. But, of course, it is the Valorant Oceania Tour that Let's Play Live and Riot have put on for us in this year of 2021. I'm Homekey. This is Komodo alongside me, and man, oh man, I cannot wait to get into this second map.
Hello, hello. Let's get back into it. Are we going to see the breaches be brought out? Because if history serves us right, we should be seeing that from Gaza as well as Dick Stacey. And I welcome the breach. Once upon a time, I loved seeing it out towards Haven. So comes out on towards Bind, which we saw happen previously on. It's, it was really well placed against Kanga, but we're looking at it right now. It's actually not going to be the case. It's going to be back on the Sova for Dick Stacey, but I'm happy to see that there is at least a breach on Gaza.
The Sova, it's just so powerful on a map like this, right? There's so many locations that the darts can be thrown over to, even at the start of the round, to try and get that early information. Where are the members over towards? Are they sending some early sort of feeders out towards A, or are they hitting that hard pitch towards B? Typically we see hookah control taken very, very early on and that kind of thing. But for the time being, it looks like we've actually got 3 members locked down towards that A site. At least, we'll have the utility of Tux, who will find that position. Then, of course, the breach and the Brim and the Sova hopping around on B. And it looks like early on, Demon are heading towards that B position. So maybe it'll be something quick. We'll have to see how it pans out.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of frenzies to be brought up as well in this pistol round, and the Ghost, of course, my favorite pistol, being seen. A little bit of this B long pressure, or rather a lot of B long pressure to come out from a Demon, but it's going to be punished for the current being. No, actually goes and swings back in Demon's favor. Bit of extra damage delivered, however, on to Ferg. We'll have the spike in hand, looking to get planted early on.
So well done to find that spike plant with the advantage. Still Swirl able to find the pick. That's a great flash in on the other side of CT there, and ultimately now falling away. Tux looking to see if he can get that reload down. The cheeky spray goes through as well, and the Molotov will actually keep them split up at least for the extra time, waiting for that Brimstone smoke to fade. But look at the information already. They've got so many members over towards this position of the elbow area, and now as they sort of start to get back through, Autumn does take some damage. Swirl's going to be able to find him as well, recollecting the nade, somehow staying alive, and does find another frag in the process despite being down on 7 points of HP. So Demon, an explosive start to this map of Find, and they find their first.
Find the first after a big bust out of B long through their opponent's Sky Smoke, and with all those kills being brought through, someone even got sent through the teleporter, the little ragdoll, but 3 for Swirl in the end. The spike plant down as well. Demon does set them up quite nicely, because remember, over to Haven, Mitch, it was 4 rounds before we saw one for Demon, so start off on the attacker's side, which can always be a little bit of a struggle when it comes to this map here. They've got their Spectres, they've got the Marshal as well, but no purchase for Order because they didn't really find any footing in the pistol.
How do they approach this one here? Very, very aggressive towards Showers as that dart will come in. Oh, Gaz has given the information away. Now they're actually going to go for this push in. Will the flash come out at the right time? It will, but Tex has actually collected a frag already. And maybe there's a little bit of miscommunication there coming through between Gaza, but in the end, looks like Swirl has already made his way very aggressively towards B. So despite being a bit of a limp, they're still managing to find that site. And it will be the control, but the 5-man rotate comes through from Order. 2 members alone.
Yeah, Maple elevated as well. As soon as the smoke does fade out, he could potentially get something. 3 to go on through, and he does manage to find one Swirl. However, to double down, and it's all down to Disco lurking in the cubby. Picks up a Spectre as well, completely blind. That's a team blind to come through. Maple feeling the brutal end of that. Disco looking for the 4K, but he overlooks the tube position as Gaza goes through the smoke. And the pistol, they found it. They also find the second round.
Man, imagine that. That's just like the ultimate tilter. It's you get this huge, 1v4 opportunity, 2 kills with the classic, and then picking up the Spectre, and then you get pushed through a smoke. Thanks, Gaza. I hate it. Nah, it's beautiful. It's well done from Demon to be able to keep their composure. Gaza is certainly a man that doesn't make poor decisions, and ultimately he will find that frag to keep Demon alive. So very, very nicely played by the Demon's side. They now move into this next round, and they're not actually going for the bonus, which I love to see. They lost a lot of weapons. They can't afford to go into this one lightly. They need to invest. I think Stacey's going to get that information down towards long. Should get plenty, but they actually move straight through this smoke, and they are moving fast, Demon.
Yeah, Dick Stacey to find the first opportunity in guard, and maybe the second one, but gets completely blinded out. Texas going to be able to do so, and through the smoke as well. It already found his way into the site, and that is just a very, very quick bonus round done and dusted. Demon can't gather it or to do so. Surviving with 4 as well will really help pad a little bit of their cash, because they don't need to reinvest too much into this new round. 2 players as well looking up the ultimate counter Mitch. Texter, Disco, one both away from Orbital Strike and Showstopper. Flip side, Ferg for the Orbital and Maple for the Blade Storm.
Still can't believe how quickly that round actually turned around to be able to find their way back in. But Order, it was very, very dominant. I like the double setup they had over towards that garden position in Long B. Able to get the trades accordingly. So Disco playing up high on this box. I do like this position. That nade should actually dunk as well. Does get forced back by the recon bolt. But playing pretty much by himself over towards that U-Haul position, because the rest of the members are in the showers. Some damage is done by Swirl, but at least Texter lives on for a little while, but he is quickly traded, but now it's going to be Disco. He is actually taken down. Dion, this is where it gets scary. The spray through the smoke should net a couple. Autumn? Are you joking me? Finding 2 straight through that smoke, and now it's all in a Gaza. Dick Stacey will try and take that damage down. He is super low, so it should be an easy round again for Autumn.
Yeah, and Dick Stacey's going to be the one to close it out in the M. Autumn really well placed on the back of a Dick Stacey's Sova dart as well, revealing the location of those demon members, and it's just all down to the traces through that smoke, you know, punching out a couple of bullets, finds the kills, and it looked a little bit finicky for Order, especially with those classics starting to find a couple of kills and some damage. Swirl, you know, leading the charge again on the back of the blast packs. You're really fast when you do that, and the movement just looks stellar, but right now, 2-2 tied up. Gun rounds for both sides. Lots of ultimates to be seen there as well. And this is where we really start to get deep in toward the strategy in this matchup.
So the Owl drone up mid, trying to collect that early control. The main thing is here, when you don't have someone like a Sage, you can't lock down that site as well. And it's sort of just, you know, hoping for good measure over towards that smoke. But Swirl is actually going to be caught up by the tripwire there, ultimately not able to throw the rocket out yet. But in the end, he makes a good choice, and Swirl will be found. But Texter gets one. In the end, he is traded out by Swirl, so at least some good control taken back. And now it's into that 3 versus 3. The spike going down, Ferg will be able to get another smoke up towards that heaven position. With that Owl drone going out, clearing around, they need to try and find something back, but look at the members of Order, they're already here.
Yeah, the Owl drone didn't go too far deep. Disco's going to catch Swirl. The Molotov to keep Ferg contained in towards U-Hole. There is this signed darts to be lined up to the spike first, and then the Hunter's Fury. So the tick comes down. Dick Stacey's actually going to stick it halfway. No, he just got off it before it got halfway. So the attempt again, it's only down to Sign. There should be no way he's able to clutch this on through. Stick through the last one on the player that has the HP. If Dick Stacey looked to do so, he would have lost his life, but the round goes over towards Order. So you see in that little scenario there, if Dick Stacey got on that spike again, Hunter's Fury would have finished him off. So just these small little calls and realization from Order there secures them the round.
It's just a clean communication, isn't it? You know, it's like just back in CS, if you've got the kit or something, it's like, get off, I've got this. You know, just being able to get the clean comms over, and that's exactly where Order can take the benefit. You know, all of these players have all played together for a long time, you know, understanding how each other works. Whereas on the side of Demon, they've still got time to learn that. And the fact that, again, that they've made it to this grand final to go up against someone of the caliber of Order who want to sort of, you know, solidify themselves. We know that EXO sort of has really established themselves as as the best team in the region for quite some time. And they're another team that didn't disband or, you know, change up too early. They were pretty much from the start outside of beta together. And ever since then, they've just proven themselves. And Order want to do the exact same thing. And Demon, we can hope for that for them in the future as well. So making their way up short, only the eco. They might be able to find something. Texter with the first, though.
And the second, can't quite net the third as well. Will relieve him of his head and also pick up a Vandal in the state to get the plant down for Demon. Will be pretty good. The Boombot not going to be able to deny so, but Swell, this is looking extremely deadly. 76 points of HP, 1 on the light shield. A couple of shots from Order will finish him off, but they have to contain this round very carefully. You know, it's just this eco that Swirl's found a lot. He's now been put to rest as Sign. Oh, this is out on the right click from Autumn there, so this is just a really strange round. Dick Stacey has the HP advantage here, but he's back on toward the spike. This is an opportunity for Sign. Is there time? He's off it again. Sign just needs the headshot. Now knows that the spike isn't defused completely. Oh, it's a ring around the rosy attempt. Signs. He's just trying to buy time, and he will get taken down. It's half-ticked at least, so I want to claim it, but my oh my was it close.
All I can think of is just the Benny Hill theme just then. As they run around the triple box. But in the end, very, very well played by Dick Stacey. The confidence in the man to go for the stick, to get it to half, and then, you know, basically you're sort of toying with the mind of Sign. So, you know, as MM would say, Sova diff in this round, as Dick Stacey does collect the 4th round for Order. Again, to anyone who's watching along at home and doesn't, you know, have a full understanding of how the maps sort of work, Bind is very defending sided. You know, it's going to be a very tough one for Demon to find the opening rounds. And as you can sort of see here, they've only found the pistol and the secondary round from there. Order from, you know, rifle round onwards have done really, really well.
Yeah, some struggles to be seen right now, that's for sure. But they've been able to get in toward the sites and investigate in that plant, you know, just really forcing Order into those retake scenarios. And we might be able to see that again with the Showers aggression starting to be met from Demon. Swirl to lead the charge yet again. They will gather the ultimate orb, so Swirl's going to be back on the rocket. But for Autumn to find Ferg at the other side of the map, that's your smokes down for Demon. That's a lot of obscuring vision down as well.
Now, very, very well done Interesting for Ferg to be walking up at that position, but maybe just trying to sort of collect some info as he has been doing quite well. Disco gets caught off guard there. Maple able to find the first, but Tuck's good for the trade. And now with the fault line going out, that will force them back into the shower corner a little bit deeper. But that's the main thing, though, about this A site. You know, if you don't have full control of the site, it can be very, very challenging to get that spike planted. But the main thing is, with these members inside the showers, it might be a little bit awkward. But Autumn, a little bit out of character there. Does miss the shot over towards short. So they've still got extra time, but that's a great shot there from Sign. Does get a little bit caught off. And now
30 seconds left.
the Hunter's Fury does tag him up, but he will live on for a little while longer. And look how low they both are now, Dion.
And the spike. That's 20 seconds to get the spike. 8 seconds bought from the Molotov, and that just really puts it into a really good position for Order. Finally, Demon can look to get toward that spike, but if you're Order, you're probably even just playing a little bit of a retake on the back of Autumn, overlooking from the heavens. Gaza signed. What are they going to be able to bring on forward to us? The dart does actually miss as Gaza finds Autumn. A headshot free fire attempt. Now there's no time for the plan to even... They got off it.
One enemy remaining.
Once again, it's just Order, you know, understanding their teammates, understanding how it needs to work, and, you know, having the confidence to sort of go ahead with each other and, you know, allowing each other to do what they need to do and not sort of having the necessary feel to take it into their own hands. So very well done again. 5 rounds now have been collected, and with the buy back in, it's another opportunity for Demon. No operator for Maple, but it's going to be at least the Vandals and the Phantoms. So now, what do? Do they change up the pace a little bit more? B really hasn't been pressured, I guess you could say, so much at the moment.
I wonder what the call for Demon there was to get off the spike. I know that there was the flank coming in from short, and we did see the push out from Autumn up at the heavens and attempts to shoot that operator, but I guess in the midst of the small little chaos that was there, Demon, they can get off the spike inevitably, and then the round doesn't go to them. But for this one, they definitely could look to lock it down after the entry.
The timing!
The 3 versus 3. The timing, though, Ferg brings out the Molotov at the wrong position, and now Swell and Signs are just disconnected from each other. Texter to absolutely rip Sign a new one, and Swell for a 1 versus 2. Valid in his opportunity to be able to do so. We've seen huge things from his before, Mitch, but he's going to be able to pull this one off. There's the first one, 22 HP. And he knows where he is. He heard the TP. Oh, he's got it as well.
There it is. Swirly boy, he has done it once more for his team. Lifted where it is needed, because I was about to say they almost looked like there was no way the Demon were going to find their way into that but one. The timing for Ferg to pull out the molly, but ultimately it was, yeah, Swell, the 1v3 clutch to get it done. Very well done.
And he even started that one off as well, you know, pushing on forward, utilizing that showstopper to clear out through Hookah, relying upon Signed and Co to push out through Garden as well to just spot out a lot of information and put the pressure onto Order surrounding the site. It was a choppy round, to say the least, for Demon, but they managed to gather it, and that's one of the big things, right? You mentioned that the attacker's side on this map, it can be quite distraught, and they've got their 3rd one looking to try and chase in for the 4th, and again, it's back towards B.
How are they going to lock this one down, though? The Owl drone gives the information early, but Maple is able to find it onto Big Stacy. Swirl already taking that control. He needs to not overextend, though, now. The main factor is going to be Tux's positioning down towards, but there you go. Exactly what I mean, Dion. Swirl, you don't need a peek. It's something that I would do in that situation, which is not exactly the play. And now Texter's afforded himself one more. Disco gets the rocket out. The showstopper does stop no show, as now they need to try and go for this retake slowly. 3 versus 4. Maple's still in a position to lock something down, but they're already inside Hookah. Looking to collect this one now. Great shot there from Autumn onto Maple. Signed, though, in this cubby position. They might actually be able to lock it down. They run past. There's one. There's a second. Signed. He can lock this one down. Almost a 3rd. He recollects the Guardian. The shot, no, not quite. That was close. So well played. But in the end, Texter with 3 will lock down another for Order. 6-3.
It's those sort of scenarios as well that you really feel for Signs, and you really get on the edge of your seat thinking that he might be able to claim one out. If that wasn't a Guardian, if it was another Vandal, potentially would have been able to spray it on through, but in the end, the 1 versus 4 attempt is a little bit too powerful, and so are the Order members gathering on 6. This scoreboard is looking diverse, to say the least, as well here, Mitch. Texter on the top, 16 kills, no one on the team, relatively close. You know, you look over towards Haven, where everyone on Order was really tight-knit and contained. A very stark difference to this map.
That's, yeah, exactly right. It's just the hard carry right now, and then the other members sort of sitting towards the bottom. But remember, guys, for everyone watching along at home, it is a team game, and I think Valorant is exactly, you know, critical of that as well. You can't rely just on the one duelist every single time, because they might have 25 kills, but that's because they've been baiting the entire game. So, This game, it's effective to move as a unit, get those trades, and use the utility effectively, and that is exactly what Order have been doing. Now moving out towards this A site again, a couple of knives go out. Maple's going to be able to find one, almost a third, and a second was there as well. Swirl has collected once more. Dick Stacey shoulders out. He's able to find the extra information. Tapping away, narrowly missing the shot. The shock dart's going to force him into an awkward situation. Actually, no, 2 points of HP. Surely he's not going to find this kill on the Ferg. He will not, and Tux unfortunately has to bow out here and rotating away. This might be where Demon can actually bring themselves back into the vicinity of a tied up game, Dion, because this is the last 3 rounds of the half. This will be 4 collected, and if the money situation goes down for Order, they actually might be able to bring it back. And as we spoke about, it is a defensive-sided map.
Yeah, Demon, that round, aggression overwhelming the forces at Order at A, opening up with the orbital strike as well into U-Hole, really just forcing the lines back. You could see that Autumn kind of just went sky high with the updraft as well to escape the grasp of Demon, but surviving with 4, definitely going to be a happy outcome for them at the closing of this round. You mentioned, you know, that we are going into our last 2 of this half. The money situation of Order is not looking too crash hot. They will be afforded a purchase coming into this one. Of course, Autumn can drop over a weapon to the likes of Dick Stacey or Texter here and get up on that Blade Storm himself. So that is what they are inevitably going to do. They're going to try and force the issue in this round. I wonder though, Mitch, we've seen a little bit of a helping of aggression from Order so far. It was definitely more prevalent over on Haven. We're going to see them take the fight to Demon in this one because they have been quite quick at getting into these sites.
No, exactly. No holds barred here, and I suppose that's one of the things that needs to be done in Bind. If you can sometimes overwhelm the defending side, it does make it very, very awkward. And look how quick this rotate is. I suppose it's off the back of the fact that Autumn has actually found all the information inside the showers, and now they can leave it completely solo, and they've made the right read. They've made the right call. Already getting out onto this side. Tux has actually picked up the tripwire, but he's going to be tagged up on the side and taken down by Sign. Certainly a struggle, but Ferg, he's walked into the smoke in towards Elbow, and Dick Stacey's ready there to find the frag, and there's the teleport, the information now, but Autumn, Autumn, he's going to be ready for this. There is knives thrown out though, but he misses, and in the end, he's only got the classic that he's going to have to actually fall away from, and the knives that could have been so great do not find the frags, but there is Disco finding one back. Swell's also going to get it down. The spike will go down for Demon. Now, rotating into U-Haul. Is he going to be able to push this one down further?
One enemy remaining.
Well, good for both of them, and that will close out the round. A make or break scenario in that round is Autumn on those blades as well. The TP, a big opportunity in the funneling towards showers, but just missing out those shots, only having the classic to back him up as well. It's just a really unfortunate turn of events, and it gives Demon, you know, the big opportunity around the site. Swells again, just kind of dancing around it, just hopping to and fro. His movement is always so, I'd say janky, but it's fast and it looks fun, so we let him have it. It's 5 rounds for Demon, and they're trying to tie it up now because this is a worse buy than what Order did just have.
Well, Swell is very much like simple, you know, it's like the high sensitivity player that most people can't keep consistent with it and actually does more harm than help, I suppose. But if you can get consistent and actually maintain that high sense play, you can do so much work.
For the people at home, Simple is a Counter-Strike person, not a Valorant person. So maybe
exactly,
not a lot of people might not know who that is for that reference. Just to point that out.
There's not many people that play on high sense, and I think that's quite the case for a lot of these games, because Valorant seems to be something that low sense actually does benefit you, because, you know, there's a lot of overcorrection. I feel like the aim is, you know, like, I guess an easier sort of thing, and that's the main thing about this game. You know, it's not all aim. It takes into account, you know, a lot of the team synergy, a lot of the utility usage, and that's why it's so exciting to watch. But now Demon, one thing that we spoke about, Dion, was the fact that the money situation wasn't looking good for Order, and that's exactly what we've seen now. They're going to get their way over towards it. We do see Swell already out onto the side, and that is side control taken. This will be the spike plan early for Demon, and a 5v5 retake. The Ferg and Maple actually collect.
This is perfect execution from Demon. Lead the charge for Swirl on the rocket, then use your Rolling Thunder over towards Elbow to gain a little bit more pressure in toward the site. And look how well it's working out. Mid-Sign is able to find 2, make it a 3rd to close it down. And likewise, reminiscent of Haven, it's 6-6 at the half. Anyone's game, and I guess for the side of Demon, you know, they didn't find anything on their attacker's side in map number 1, bar the 1 round. They've already found 6 on this one. So this is really happy for them.
And it was a good, recovery by Order early on as well. Demon, they found there too, and then didn't really have an answer for it for quite some time until the last 3 rounds into the half here, or they found, 5 of the last 4. So very well done from Demon to be able to put themselves into this position. Again, we speak about it being a defender-sided map, and now they get to go onto this defense and see what they can do. It is both Swirl and Texter well and truly ahead of the curve, but I have been interested in Signed. I feel like, despite only being on 12, it's been the impact frag position that this man has been on. So now they look for that control. Looks like there's going to be the early dart to come out for the information. But anything could happen here. Oh, I love that dart. There you go. There's the information early. They do destroy it, so now he knows there's someone in the showers.
Well, that's a big thing to come out as well and be copped for the raise on the side of Order. Disco not going to be happy at that one by any means. Texter to lead the charge in with the Molotov as well to buy a little bit of time. I love the deployment, the standard smokes to go down. Usually if you have a Sage, you put the wall up across those smokes as well, but the teleport's been heard, and there's only one player over here for Demon. It's Signs to catch the information, maybe find a kill if possible, but they're going to cross over, jump over, a little bit of a cop to the face there, but they're still looking to get this crushing out. Disco with the low HP, still managing to work it out, and there's lots of kills going left, right, and center. At least finally Demon are able to find some, but it's all again onto Sign, the player who looks to open up an opportunity from Elbow, now in a 1 versus 3.
That's so unlucky there for Swirl by swapping over to the other weapon. He actually got timed, and look at the health position for Autumn now. They are so low, and Autumn actually misses that one, so he's going to get the information down towards that long position now. Sign does sit, parking in that position, waiting a little bit longer. There's going to be the dash up. I'm not sure if that was actually correct there, but Autumn's thrown him off for a little bit. He doesn't have much time to go. Does have the owl drone, but doesn't exactly have time to work with. There's not quite. Texter lives on. He's able to find the 7th round for Order. So that is a great start here. Very nicely done from Order. A Swore, the second Swirl, found that kill inside Hookah. It might have been a different position, but no. Order, keep their composure, find the retake, and find the round.
It's kind of like a mirror image on this scoreboard as well. You've got your player at the top of the leaderboard, and then you trickle on down, and the kills are sort of being extremely close to each other. It's kind of the Texter and Swirl show at this point, with them finding the multitude of frags and everybody else supporting, finding the off-put positions. Because remember, team game, as you've already mentioned, Mitch, sometimes you're not getting kills, but you're opening up your teammates the availability to find those kills a little bit easier. So it does work out very nicely in that regard. But of course, everybody wants kills, right? So hopefully we'll be able to find them.
Wow, there it is. I was going to say, it's always funny watching that position. You're like, it's the attackers waiting for the aggression, just holding on the defensive side. Anyway, very well done. Good opening pick from Autumn.
Smoke's down.
50 seconds here, Mitch. Spike looking to be planted over at the B site from Order, just looking to mop up the Demon crew, as this is the sort of second round after that pistol. Yeah, usual free rounds. We'll have the bonus in the next one when the purchase is going to be here for Demon. It's all 5 alive at the closure of the round. Order, they find likewise what Demon did. Remember, in the first half, this was the chance that the CT side in then Order ran away with a couple of rounds. So is this the turn for Demon to do so?
Right here.
Very well could be. And again, it's that position, do they go for the bonus or do they go for the buy-in? And because of the amount of members that have been able to live on and actually maintain that economic situation, Order will be going for this bonus because they have so much money, even if they lose into the next one. So full buy-in for the side of Demon. This is their important round to get it back in. Let's see how they play it off.
Yeah, with the owl drone for Dick Stacey to get a little bit of information into showers, you would expect Swell to be seen, and it turned around where he will be notified. So Swell has to use a blast pack to get out quickly. You could see that he had the right read because Dick Stacey very, very quick on that shock dart as well. But with the pressure already established around A for Order, they're going to be met with a couple of these Demon players. A couple of damages being seen as well. Swell to find his counterpart raised in Disco, but the spike is looking to be planted momentarily.
They're looking to get that one down with only the one limb gone, but it's actually Sign that's taken down his teammate. The unfortunate nature. He's going to be able to do some extra damage, but yes, indeed, the whoopsie does put them into a very awkward situation because now they're rotating back over towards that B site, and it looks like they are going to be ready for it. A couple of members sending their way back. Dick Stacey is ready to see if Swell's going to go for that aggressive push, but in the end, he does fall away. Now, how is this going to connect up towards this B site? Only the two members. They are super split, Dion, yeah.
Yeah, you'd almost need to see Dick Stacey open up something here, but he's gathered all the information, and the TP actually comes from B. You've got that late hold to be held from Tux over outside that B teleporter. They've completely sold the fake over towards this B side, with now finally Demon getting back over to A, but it might be too little too late. At least the spike goes down. It's 4 versus 4 on a retake. It is going to be a little bit tricky for Demon. They can't really smoke off anything bar these cloud bursts. Autumn's already made quick work of your, quote, carry in Swirl, and this is just going to be a very hard retake to come on through. Demon need to utilize all their abilities to perfection, but they don't really have anything. All the signature abilities have been used at the current time. Gaz are at least able to find one, traded on through. Orbital strike from Texter with what little HP he had. He only had 5. He'll get taken down, but it buys enough time for the 2 versus 2 that his teammates can get something done. Maybe Signed opens up for another one. It's all onto Autumn. There's the Marshall in the 1 versus 1. Will it be able to be figured out by Signed? A tap on the defuse forces the hand at Autumn to dash on through. He's got the information now, using his abilities to perfection, and the round is ordered.
Oh, God. That was pretty damn dirty from Autumn there. Very nicely done with the 3K on the Marshall. And I love that fake information towards the end, right? The dash across to the short line, the updraft as well to sort of throw him off a little bit further. And, you know, that's exactly what Autumn needed. So now they're going to actually collect all of these weapons straight back into it, ultimately rebuying into the Vandals and just keeping the Autumn Marshall up. But the rest of the members are actually going for the Buckies. Remember, still $800, by the way. Let's see if it actually gets anything done.
Let me find you again.
It's a disgusting weapon, to say the least. We'll see what it can come out with. We've seen Demon pull them out before. Well, of course, loves his little jumping shotgun. I remember, you know, the great shotgun clip of Split from RDW on Raze once upon a time with that judge. It wasn't the Bucky, but it was a phenomenal play. Anyways, bonus round secured out by Order. This is where they'll try to do it again for a quite little free round.
So what do we see from these pushes, these peaks? Looks like Maple is sort of toying with it again. He's actually had a relatively quiet game, I feel like, which is a little bit out of character for him. But then again, you know, when you're facing off in the stalemate of against someone like, you know, Autumn, it's always a very, very scary prospect. So falling back towards that long position, it does look like Autumn will be collecting over there. Autumn, great pick onto Swirl as he pushes down short. I feel like Swirl is getting a little bit over-aggressive in some of these rounds. You know, he's pushing into the void very much so. A couple of these positions, but trying to lock it down now. 40 seconds remain. They've got to get to the site.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Any slip-up can be really unfortunate, and Sign is going to find an opportunity here now, gathering that Vandal in hand. The TP's been heard as well, and Ferg technically is going to go in for this big odd flank. He could have looked to potentially play up towards short to just throw off Order a little bit, but the plant going down a triple. That is a great execution from Texter. Likewise of Disco, they're bringing it back in toward their hands. Here's Ferg on that little alert that I've just mentioned. Autumn managed to catch a little bit of the unforeseen timing on it, but with the Marshall against the Bucky, I mean, either one of them can still take out the shot pretty damn quickly. Signed has been seen too, and
One enemy
Mitch,
remaining.
I think we're seeing 10 here for Order.
We very well should be. Demon, very, very awkward situation. And again, Signed has gone really, really, you know, well for most part of this map, but I just feel like it's been him and Swell sort of trying to do their best, where Order have just pretty much outshined them. You know, it's been very, very nice to watch how they've been able to play it. Really just haven't given Demon too many opportunities. And I remind everyone, this is Demon's map selection. Yep. So it's looking like Order are doing a really, really good job. Signed will be able to find a third, but man, oh man, it's tough.
Yeah, dropping a couple of the weapons in at the end is good for padding the stats and all, but the money, the credits that Demon, or rather Order, already had at their disposal, they've got enough to repurchase what was lost. So double out for Order right now. The Blade Storm available as well up on this scoreboard. Science actually managed to catch up quite nicely towards Swirl, but you look at that other side, Mitch. Texter, again, really just putting in the work for all of these kills, setting up the plays with the smokes as well. It's just looking really thought out from Order, and when Texter's hot, you just let him go frag because you know he's good for it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? You know, Tex has been able to support his team in so many different ways, but also perform at the exact same time. And look at that from Autumn. This is what I mean, though, right? Swell's getting impatient. He's getting to the point where he's feeling like he needs to go for these risky plays, pushing through a long smoke. Like, what's the point? You're not going to gain anything, my friend. And now that's put Ferg into a really, really awkward situation, trying to defend the site all on his lonesome, and he's getting up close and personal as well. Nice position, just on the other side of the smoke, but yeah, certainly makes it, you know, a bit challenging because Order, they are in such a prime. There you go, Ferg's gone down as well. And basically, Order have just been gifted 2 frags onto a silver platter before the round's even a minute in.
Gifted is certainly a way that you can look at it as well, but when you're 4 rounds down and you're in a money scenario that if you do drop one, you're looking to concede over that 12th inevitably to Order, you need to try and get something happening to catch them off guard, and unfortunately Order, they are a team that is expecting that off guarding in this current juncture, and they're just ready for it. Dick Lacey now is going to relieve Gaza as well, and there's just really no feeling of substance in this round for Demon. They looked to do so, and here's a kill for Sign to equalize onto what Swirl has on that scoreboard, but they almost just have to save these weapons into the next round. They'll have a little trickle of money to reinvest if they want to, but by all means it should be Order claiming out the 11th here. You can see that they've just got Jet lurking over towards B, holding in what they have. Signs was trying to find any frags that he possibly could. Maple to take the operator into the next round is the only thing to be concluded in this one for Demon.
Pretty much. Don't really know what extra element to add right now. You know, Demon have just sort of let the opportunities slip up, and Order have done very, very well at waiting for that. But look, I don't want to sound overcritical because I can't be, right? You know, the fact is, Demon have come into this competition with a very, very small percentage of prac. Obviously, we've got, you know, Ferg and Gaza from the Legacy roster, bringing in the extra members of Maple, Signed, and Swirl. It's a huge thing. You know, it's such an early day, and it's clear, you know, Sign and Swirl dropping 20 frags apiece here. It just is shown by Order that, you know, despite the frags being found by the opposing team, it doesn't mean they're, you know, securing rounds.
And hopefully it doesn't, you know, lead Demon into one of those sedances where they will crumble as a team, right? Because it is early days, as you mentioned. In it for the long run is something that we really love to see be brought into the region. It's likewise a wild card, you know, 2 weeks of practice and they're still able to put on the performance to get quite far into this series. And that's what Demon, they've got to be happy. They've gotten the top 2 spot. The money's there. The qualification into the regional finals is there. And before then, they will have an extreme amount of time to practice, Mitch. So it is looking good for the early stage. They know that Order is a powerhouse team in our region, and this is why, you know, they have all that practice down pat, they have that experience.
No, that's exactly right. It's huge. Gives them the opportunity and early signs that there's time to work with, basically. You know, it doesn't have to be all over, you know, such an early stage, so it's cool. I'm really, really stoked to see that we've got some, you know, new rosters and bits to work on before everything does run in.
Disco on a Gaza running in toward the site. Swirl with the Guardian able to find one, but with 21 HP will be taken down in a trade. Operators starting to be felt out in the round. There is the Blade Storm for Autumn that he will bring out on a Q. Ferg going to tap out the defuse to bring out that orbital strike. It's nice and early as well. They could try to get a cloud burst on toward the spike and then get in toward the defuse too, tapping it through Autumn. He's going to use a cloud burst of his own. He could dash through if he wants, using all of the blades just to instill a bit of pressure because the camera gets that tag on through. One on the operator for each side. Autumn taps Ferg on the corner of the wall, and that should solidify the round in for Order. Great stuff from Sign. Can he escape with the gun? Nope. He'll be put into the graveyard by Texter, and Order now had 12 on the board. Mitch, we haven't seen a round from Demon on this defensive side. They found one on Haven on their offensive side. Is it just the case that the second half gets the better of them?
Alrighty. Well, I'm sort of in a bit of an awkward spot right now because it has been super interesting to witness, and I guess, you know, Order just showing how good they are at this game, I suppose, right? You know, they've really, really locked this down, and the fact is, to go into a grand final and to pull away with a 2-0 potentially, you know, the game's not done just yet, with such a solid scoreline as well. And look at this from Autumn. He's going to pick up a frag in just a second. There it is. Ferg shows his shoulder. Maple has already pushed all the way down long. Does actually pick up a frag though, so Disco is going to go down, but that should mean they should be able to actually get their way around. Autumn's going to pick up another as well here. They've just walked straight into the open hands, and that should be the site taken as well. Autumn's going to push all the way up in towards maybe Heaven. Oh, actually, no, he's going to go down towards Showers as well, because he does have that information. So they've teleported through. Now out. They have to try and find this rotate. Tux is going to be able to find Maple. He's had a quiet game, but it doesn't matter. Should be able to find one more on the flank as well. The Rolling Thunder does come out, but unfortunately, I don't think it is going to find much here, as it's all undersigned. 1 versus 4, and Order look like they're about to close it.
Definitely so. Signed, he's put up big performances before, but this would be a mountain of a task. One away from the Hunter's Fury, waiting out the Sky Smoke to fade through. You do have the Sniper very close in proximity, and Tux will get the 3K on the round. That does put in the closure of this game. Mitchell 13-6 to Demon. The first one was 13 to Order, sorry. 13-7 was map number 1. And for Order, I mean, they're going to be extremely happy with their performances, you know, taking out the 2-0 here in, you know, not so close as the scoreline, but a little bit that we can still, as viewers, as commentators, and as the players for Demon there, can have a grasp going forward and things to work on.
No, exactly right, mate. And I tell you what, it was really, really cool to see that Order, you know, despite even being, you know, Demon showing up in the last couple of games that we've seen through this qualifier, you know, it's Order not really being pressured. You know, they certainly didn't look overwhelmed or anything like that during the entirety of the series. They certainly looked very, very relaxed. And despite letting a few rounds go, you know, by the wayside, especially in the first half of each map, they didn't really feel, the stress at all. They just basically ran straight out of the gates as soon as that second half hit, only losing 1 round in both maps. You know, as you said, 13-7, 13-6, despite both maps being a 6-6 half time. So we are going to have an interview shortly from the big fella Texter, the Glycogen Master himself. I'm very much looking forward to it. And it looks like we've actually got him with us. Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Oh.
No?
Yep.
Oh, there he is. G'day, buddy. How you doing?
You can hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Doing well, bro. Just coming off that clean 2-0.
Nah, really well-placed performance there, Matty. The second one especially from you. Was it a case of your boys letting you go frag? Because you were putting up monster kills, mate.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit tougher to get kills when Kale, Autumn, sorry, and Homeboy on our Arena, when they pop off, it's definitely harder to get kills. But in that series, I think the way those guys play, they're like super brawly. So that's a style that I'm used to from Counter-Strike and things like that. So it was pretty easy for me to read and make good calls for the boys and basically pop off with my aim too.
Nah, look really cool, man. Just the way you're able to sort of pick up those rotates and sort of, you know, play a bit more of a solo role whilst calling for the boys to come over to the free side. It was really, really awesome to watch. But one thing I did want to touch on is obviously, for me at least, I hadn't seen it yet, but you guys have made a complete shuffle to your roster in the way of the agent selection. What brought that on?
I think so. Autumn traditionally was more of like a fragger coming from Counter-Strike, and same with Disco. So when they were playing this game, they're sort of just like happy to play whatever role, and that's sort of the same with Tux and Dick Stacey as well, and me. We were sort of keen to just do whatever, so we sort of just kept it the same when we picked up those two boys, because they had previously played on the Smoker, Disco, and then Autumn we switched him up onto the Sentinel. But really, after the first Strike event, I sort of just looked at our VODs and just our games, and we had like a lot of rounds where people like weren't activating correctly and didn't understand their role in the team. And I think that just came down to people being uncomfortable. So we went back to the drawing board and sort of tried to make adjustments to make Disco and Autumn more comfortable. And as you guys can see throughout the tourney so far, it's I think it's definitely helped for them to focus on their game and pop off.
No, it's definitely something beautiful to hear, Matt. Of course, you'd be knowing in the region, sometimes you see roster shuffles time and time again. So to be able to see that you guys have worked on that issue, you know, sticking to that core 5 and changing up the roles in the team, it instills good discipline and it instills good pride in, I guess, our region as a whole. But for you guys to be able to put up the performance in, I guess, what would be the first event in having over those changes for you guys, it is really well placed. So a big congratulations in taking out that first place spot. Do you have any shout outs or anything that you want to throw on the mic?
Cheers, boys. Just shout out to Order, all of our sponsors, Loaded Tech, Puma, etc. Cheers for everyone supporting us on Twitter and Twitch, my stream, everything. Peace out, boys. Have a good one.
I appreciate it, buddy. Cheers for coming on. Alrighty, there we go. Well done. No, that was awesome to have Matt back on. Obviously, Texter, he's such an established player, been around for so long, and came into the scene very, very young as well. And obviously as he's matured over time, he's just become a better player. And to have that much impact and control in not exactly the fragger role, he's playing on the smokes, playing on the controller, and being able to create space for his team is absolutely massive. So stoked to have him on. And obviously from me, thanks for everyone for watching. But we've got a couple of closing words to go before we do run up the stream, guys.
Just a big shout outs to everybody to bring it in, and a big shout out to Dallas here as he comes on back as well, making things a little bit better for us and we can focus on our casting here. Dallas, mate, did you think that one would follow in pursuit likewise of Haven?
I mean, to be honest, Order looking very, very strong there. And I mean, Texter's showing up with a very similar performance. I mean, I've seen that sort of similar show happen over the years. One thing to note there as well, and I was saying to our technical director just off air there, didn't look like summer, didn't look like spring, it did look like the autumn season there, It doesn't have a lot of big frags, but they are very, very high impact frags. And he does look very comfortable sort of playing, with the Marshall there, with the AWP as well. So it just makes things very, very easy, I think, for them. Like hearing Texter say that as well, that they all sort of feel comfortable within their positions. And I think it's very clear, as those matches go on, Demon are right neck and neck with them, but as, they sort of start working out what they're doing, and Texas obviously making those reads and making those calls, it's very, very apparent that Order are just that, that little bit above and able to sort of work on the fly since everyone's so comfortable. They're just very, very dynamic and flexible as they sort of work through the rounds.
Now, they're a perfect example of a roster for anyone who's watching along at home or anything like that and wants to understand how people should sort of take it. That's exactly how. If you're feeling struggles in your team or anything like that, have a chat, work it out. There's no problem with being someone underperforming or something like that. Maybe they're just not in a position that they're comfortable with. And I think off that, obviously the on-air personalities as well from Texter to be able to run an interviews that well, and the player pitches and everything like that. It's just a real good standard of how esports should be in our region. So a massive shout out to Order for that one, and also a great run from Demon as well. I'm super stoked to see how they've been in such short time, and I look forward to seeing them in the rest of the qualifiers.
And my final sort of point to make there as well is that them shaking up all of their positions and their roles and sticking with the same roster is only going to make them a stronger team moving forward as well. So it's probably something we'd like to see across all the teams, to maybe if things aren't going so well, try to shake things up a little bit, give everyone else a different role, and in time that's probably going to make you a stronger team anyway. But if you've just joined us, you've just caught the second game there. Order winning that series against Demon 2-0. What a strong performance from them. But that's not it. That's not all. They've managed to secure that top spot and that top seed spot. But let's take a look towards our next closed qualifier and what we'll be looking towards. So we see Paradox, Kanga, Over Palastrike, and Mind Freak, who will be leading the charge there in our closed qualifier number 2. That does start from the 4th of March, so make sure you are following LPL and all of their socials to stay up to date with all of those matches moving forwards. We will have some more open qualifiers as well to see who will be joining the boys there for those games as we move towards our regional finals. But I do want to say a big thank you to both of you, Komodo and Conky, for joining us here and taking us through those games there. What a stellar performance from both of you there. And from all of us here at the LPL team, it's been an absolute pleasure to bring you the Oceania Tour. I've been Dallas Easy Fight City, and from all of us here, we'll see you on the next one. Let's go.